credit card. Just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Deal ends Friday, December 6th. See Club for details.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into The Breeze. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Haas the Breezy streaming in. No DP. He's out on business. Once again, busy time of year for the boss man. 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. If you want to put a face to the voice, all good ways to do so. Plenty of things to talk about in the world of sports, in the world of pro wrestling, especially in the world of college football. But before we even get there, Haas the Breezy, we got to start with it. There is a very important game, a crucial game. Some would say the biggest game on the NFL slate today at 3:25 between two powerhouse teams today, between the 49ers and the up-and-coming Chicago Bears. You're not wearing your 49ers gear, though, I see.
It's just because this is what I was wearing earlier. Happy Sunday. And yes, those are the two teams that we like. But at this point, no one cares about them. So we can talk about college football.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's why I brought it up right off the bat so we can move on from it. Bears win. That's my assessment. We don't have to go too much further than that.
Yeah, no. George Kittle's going to be happy either way, I guess. But okay. So there's the number one thing that you'll hear right now is whether Alabama should have been in or not. And so we can talk about that. But where my brain went was looking at the next round matchups and then the semis and then the championship game. And so go ahead. Should Alabama or South Carolina have been in instead of SMU?
Do we have the official? I'm sorry, real quick here. Do we have the official?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
Because I don't listen to I don't listen to anyone when I talk about sports. I don't listen to ESPN and their brainwashing. I don't read Twitter. Like, this is my own opinion from watching football.
Okay.
SMU made it as an 11.
Yep, and Alabama's out.
Because Arizona State is the 5th conference champion.
Yep.
Sorry. Clemson is the 5th conference champion. So Clemson is the 12th seed.
I'm okay with it. I think that's fine. Is SMU really a better team than Alabama? I don't know. But if you're Alabama and you're racking up 3 losses, that seems all right to me. That seems fair. Like, if you're Bama, I mean, you got Mercer down the stretch. And I get it, the SEC is a tougher conference, but I don't know how tough the SEC really even is anymore. This year, if anything, has shown that the SEC is down. So this
You guys are brainwashed. You guys are brainwashed in the Big Ten. The SEC is not down. Texas and Georgia would destroy.
I think they
everyone.
would. It's like UCF when they beat Auburn to go undefeated that year. It's like they deserve the nod, but realistically, the odds of them winning.
SMU had 2 losses.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute. I'll give
for
you
SMU.
Clemson, who is the worst conference champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just from memory, no, Northern Illinois was Notre Dame, right?
Did they lose to Boise State? Was that the other loss?
BYU. I think it was BYU.
Here we go. I gotta pull it up here. I'll just quick.
Going off memory.
Yeah, it was BYU. They lost that one 18-15. So the close.
But their wins, their ACC wins, they didn't beat Miami. They didn't play Miami. They didn't play Notre Dame. They didn't play Clemson in the regular season.
No. The best team they played was BYU.
And Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson. Louisville. All right, give me Bama. That's
like it's not even close.
Bama,
now
it's just like SMU. This is a very unimpressive resume.
Yeah. So,
man, I'm kind of shocked that they're in it. Just looking through it, like they really. And I encourage anybody, if you think they belong, really just kind of go through their schedule. I mean, there's nobody on here, and the somebodies are teams they lost to.
So, just to make sure we're not disrespecting South Carolina, let's go ahead and go through their schedule real quick.
I guess what South Carolina have 3 losses on the year.
Yeah, but they were just as good as Alabama, and they ended the year one of the hottest teams in college football.
I liked South Carolina all year long. This is a team that it was me and Chancellor Brewington. We called for the upset over Alabama just because Alabama was showing that they get in a lot of shootouts. But yeah, man, if you look at South Carolina, like that's a team to me that with the losses, but you actually look at their schedule and how they came out in these games. Outside of the Ole Miss game was really the worst showing for them, losing that one 27-3. And then LSU early in the year, but you only lost by 3. And Alabama, you lost by a few. I mean, but they had a chance in that Alabama game.
Ole Miss was their second loss, 27-3.
Yep.
And then Bama, they were right there.
Yeah, Alabama. They had multiple opportunities too, which really sucks. I remember watching that game, and they had the QB just sailed a few of them down the stretch there. He also got him into position, so I can't hate on him. Like they got to that position because he was playing so well. But yeah, I mean. SMU is really shocking me after looking at their schedule. I'd be lying.
South Carolina's case to end the year, they won 6 in a row.
Yep.
They beat Texas A&M, Vandy, Missouri, all ranked teams. Okay, so Wofford doesn't count. Mm-hmm. It's not their fault. Though you should probably start scheduling schools like that. So since strength of schedule doesn't matter. And then Clemson. At Clemson.
And you
won.
On the
6 straight. Yeah. So how is the team that beat the ACC champion not in? Now then Alabama fans. Okay, hang on. Pretty sure I remember they beat the SEC champ. Pretty sure they also beat South Carolina. I know they have 3 bad losses. I think it's Tennessee, Ole Miss. You're gonna have to help me with the third one.
Tennessee, Ole Miss. I don't want to go.
Oh, they had Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a really bad loss.
That's right. Let's hear from Don real quick here, just before we get too far away from it, about the Alabama or South Carolina. Short answer of it is Alabama and or South Carolina should be in. No. Long answer, no, with multiple O's. So, shout out Don, as always.
Why?
I think people just have fatigue over the SEC.
Yeah, especially people around the Big Ten. Just telling you right now. The
I
rest of
think-
the country is going to say Alabama. Okay, fine.
SMU
let's do
doesn't
plan-
belong. SMU is the one I'll tip my cap and being like, yeah, get them out of there. I would take South Carolina. I would take Alabama. I'd like to take Ole Miss, but Ole Miss just can't ever get their act right. So I probably wouldn't take them. But I would take both of those schools before I took SMU. SMU, the games, I mean, they beat Duke by 1, and that was like late in the season too. Like they've been scraping by all year long. Like this game versus Penn State, I'd be very shocked if they don't get blown out. It's not even blowout, but like I'm thinking 14+ win for Penn State.
Do you have the schedule up?
The playoff bracket, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's walk through it real quick. If you guys have it up, watching at home, Clemson, Texas is the 12-5 game, with Texas being the 5. They were a top 1, top 2 team all year, and they barely lost the SEC championship in OT. So, I mean, Clemson has the playoff pedigree, but Texas, if they win that one, then they play Arizona State.
And they just blew the doors off of Iowa State. I'll say this: Arizona State. Where are you at with them? Because I'd be lying to you if I said I watched a ton of Iowa State football this year. I've tuned in, see some scores. Probably have not sat from first to fourth quarter for one Iowa State game, but they looked awful. That was not the same Iowa State team that I remember seeing throughout the season. Was that just a bad showing from Iowa State, or is Arizona State that good that they might have a chance not just to upset Texas or Clemson, but maybe even upset 2 teams?
So I'm going to sound crazy, but I think a 2-loss team, not from the top 2 conferences, because there's 2 mega conferences.
Yep.
And then there's the rest. That's what it's become. And if you're a 2-loss team in a non-mega conference, you might be equal to a 4-loss team in a mega conference. What about this? Would Michigan beat Arizona State? Michigan probably has 10 losses this year. Would Michigan beat Arizona State?
I don't know. They just
you guys love the Big 12 so much.
Ohio State, so they definitely
Michigan would beat Arizona State. Michigan would beat Clemson. Michigan would beat SMU.
I don't know. I think that's where college football has gone. Like it's gotten so I'm not certain about anybody. Like Arizona State had a really good showing. Michigan looked like crap all year long, and then they go play Ohio State, and they win.
Had zero doubt they'd beat Ohio State before the game.
But in even games like Wisconsin, how confident are we in Oregon? We're like two weeks away from them scraping by Wisconsin by a couple points, and that's the only undefeated team. The only undefeated perfect team in this playoff bracket is Oregon, who beat Wisconsin by 2. A team that Nebraska decimated in a blowout. Like, I don't know if that was just a bad showing from Iowa State or if Arizona State is like kind of turning the corner and they're in there and it's just a really good rhythm hot stretch. The only loss they have is, I believe when Jeff Sims, the former Husker, got the start. So I think Arizona State might be legit. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Michigan would just run over Arizona State, because Michigan hasn't been. They've been very up and down. They wanted it versus Ohio State, but for whatever reason, was not the Michigan that showed up all year.
Obviously, Michigan didn't play well being 7-5. I knew they had 5 losses, but the point I was trying to make was the playoff is very diluted. Sorry.
Yeah, you're correct.
Notre Dame's schedule, for example, the 2 of the best teams they beat, Army and Navy.
And they lost to NIU.
But everyone's so high on Notre Dame.
No, the Notre Dame one, I'm with you there. That stuff drives me up a wall. SMU probably belongs down there more than Notre Dame does. Like Notre Dame, the non-conference schedule for them is such a cakewalk more years than not. And because it's Notre Dame, because they're one of those quote unquote blue bloods, like they just get all this benefit of the doubt. They get more benefit of the doubt than the SEC teams. Like people are always just giving Notre Dame the nod. because they're not attached to any conference. And as a result of that, everybody just thinks Notre Dame's always good. So they're always getting a little bit of bias. Notre Dame should not be 7. And my hope is that Indiana embarrasses them.
Yeah, the problem is everyone is so high on Indiana and Big Ten country. Indiana,
they haven't played anybody either, really.
Exactly. Exactly. If I would take a rematch with Michigan and Indiana, and I'd flip a coin, 5 out of 10 times Michigan would win that this year with how bad Michigan is.
I'm not sure if where the wheels fall off for Indiana. I think they got a good chance of beating Notre Dame. Like I'm not sold on Notre Dame at all. If NIU can do it, certainly Indiana can do it.
A 7-10 is a coin flip, and typically the 10 is going to come in angry because they feel like they should be the 7.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to matter. Whoever plays next is probably going to get blown out by Georgia, unless Georgia has a Kentucky game.
So let's go back to that. So 12-5 is Clemson, Texas.
Yep.
And then the 4 is Arizona State. And I know everyone's going to say Clemson and Arizona State have chances since they're conference champions. Texas has a lot of NFL talent. And what's rough is Oregon has the hardest bracket to the championship game.
Oh yeah, and it's not even close. If you're Penn State, are you kidding me? Just for reference, this is what Haas Tabrizi, if you're out there listening on the app and you don't have the graphic in front of you, this is what Haas is describing. Oregon, they're rewarded for having the only perfect season in this playoff bracket. A Ohio State team who they barely beat the first time, and a Tennessee team who Tennessee, probably the dark horse for a lot of fans that are watching this playoff bracket, probably like Tennessee's odds. Except for the fact that they're in there with Oregon or Ohio State. Penn State, all they have to do is beat SMU and then Boise State. And then they got to face probably Georgia. But if you're Oregon, you're going to have to knock off Ohio State or Tennessee. And then after that, you're probably going to have to knock off Texas. So, like, it's two different ballparks. If you're Georgia, you definitely won this one. You're looking at Penn State, and that's about it on your side.
Yeah. So let's just say all the seeds real quick in case people can't see. And then we could talk about which team we feel got the most shafted and then which team got the most beneficial bracket.
Okay.
So we talked about 12-5. Change screens because it's hard to see yours.
Yeah, we'll just go in order, and I'll let you guys know who the buys are and then who the actual matchups are. So your 1 through 4, your buys. Number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Boise State. And number 4, Arizona State. All those teams got a bye for that first round. So then you get to the other 8 schools. So then at number 5, that's where you get Texas. And number 6, then you get Penn State. Number 7, Notre Dame. Number 8, Ohio State. And then 9, Tennessee. 10, Indiana. 11, SMU. 12, Clemson. And the 7-10 matchup, that's Notre Dame, Indiana. 6-11, Penn State, SMU. 8-9 matchup, Ohio State, Tennessee. And the 5-12 matchup, Texas and Clemson. Where do you want to start?
So let's just go through the bracket. The 9-8 game is the best game, and it might be the best game for the first 2 weeks. Tennessee, Ohio State.
Yeah, I'd say Indiana, Notre Dame is going to be intriguing, but as far as best game goes, that you're going to get good product, 8-9 is got to be it.
It's the two most, I don't know what, two most classic, two most storied franchises of the matchups. Sorry, Indiana's just not.
No, yeah. I mean, unless they're playing basketball, no, they're not a storied program.
So Tennessee being in the SEC, having Peyton Manning, having done a lot in the SEC. Ohio State, okay, the Michigan thing was a surprise. Oregon game was really close. I mean, Ohio State sucks. But still, they're always in the top 4. So therefore, that 8-9 matchup is going to be the matchup to look forward to. The winner of that gets Oregon. Oregon in the Rose Bowl, so that's another thing to consider. The location of the quarterfinal games. Oregon's close to where they want to be. Arizona State is playing in the Fiesta Bowl, close to where they want to be. Boise State is far from the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, and Georgia is close to New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl. So location wise, Oregon's happy, and Ohio State or Tennessee, yeah, they're used to traveling now, but that's a little bit of a factor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push Oregon to win that over, let's say, Tennessee. I don't want to see Oregon, Ohio State again, so I'm going to speak it into existence.
Oh man,
Tennessee and Texas are going to go ahead and win, and you guys are going to be like, "Oh, great, he's an SEC guy." I'm not an SEC guy. SEC just plays better in college football.
So wait, you got Tennessee beating Ohio State and Tennessee beating Oregon?
No, Tennessee and Texas winning their first round matchups.
Okay, I got Tennessee winning their first round matchup, and I got Texas winning theirs as well. Well, let's just go one side at a time here, unless you want to go just all the first rounds.
Yeah, all the first rounds.
Okay, so we're the only we're the same there. We got Tennessee and Texas both getting past that first round. So we got Notre Dame versus Indiana and Penn State versus the highly touted SMU.
I really liked SMU's quarterback, like the way he threw when he was on the run. I did like that.
You don't get to this point unless you got some guys. Like, they got a good quarterback for sure. It's just they haven't been dominating the games you would hope. But hey, a James Franklin team, they tend to play their opponent, so this could be exactly what they need. So 6 versus 11, Penn State, SMU.
Penn State.
Yeah, as much as I want to be fun here, I'm going to go Penn State. Notre Dame, Indiana. I know where you're going to go.
No, you're wrong. Both Big Ten teams are going to win.
Oh, okay. Kurt Cignetti moves on, playing number 2 Georgia. So you got more of the same again. So we are exactly the same for the first round. Indiana wins, SMU wins, Tennessee wins, Texas wins. All right.
So 2 SEC teams win and 2 Big Ten teams win.
Yep, that sounds just about right.
Okay. Now, moving forward, I can't pick Oregon and Georgia losing. Doesn't matter who they're playing. The big question is Beck's upper body injury. How serious is that? But Georgia's defensive line, Georgia's running back, Georgia's everything is much more talented than Indiana. No offense, Indiana. So you can just go ahead and move Oregon and Georgia to the semifinals. Okay.
I'm with you. Give me Georgia. Give me Tennessee, though. Take the Volunteers. Give me the Vols. I said that at the beginning, kind of teasing it. That is my dark horse. Tennessee, to me, is a team that, if you're Oregon's just been, I don't know. They look really good and consistent. They're doing enough to win games, but they have been just razor close a few times in a row now. And it's one of those things where it's like, if I was an Oregon Duck fan, I almost would have hoped I would have dropped one already just to get over it. But it feels like they're on the verge of dropping one here. And I feel like their luck might run out against the Tennessee Volunteers team, who I don't know if that quick West Coast style offense is going to work super great against Tennessee. We'll have to wait and see. Well, Tennessee's got to beat Ohio State too. So there's a couple things that are going to fall in play there. Let's slow down. Let's go to break. We could talk about each game in a little more detail for the quarterfinals, just because that Tennessee Oregon game or Ohio State Oregon game is the best game for the quarterfinals. So we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 8 teams left in the college football playoffs on the break. Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. We'll do all that next.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CR-FR Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. The Breeze, second segment. Haas the Breezy joining me as always. Harrison Arns on the 1-2s back at 1040 O Street. You guys can come hang out. The mill is still open for you guys if you're interested. Only open for about 30 more minutes, though, so you can quick grab your cup of coffee, maybe meet some of the talent, but then the mill will close up. You can still listen to the Ticket all day long. Use the Ticket app, use the streams, because, of course, like I said before, we will have NFL on the brick and mortar for most of the day here going forward. All right, Haas the Breezy. We wrapped up talking about that first round in particular. We're really breaking down the Oregon, Ohio State, Tennessee side of things for that Rose Bowl potential game. So, Haas the Breezy, I'll throw it over to you, and we can keep going down this rabbit hole.
I got a text during the break from Michael. Miami should have made it instead of SMU. They were the best team in the ACC until the last 2 or 3 weeks. Miami won
also
4 games.
Have a very impressive schedule. I hate to say it though.
They won 4 games very closely.
Mm-hmm.
They played nobody.
Yep.
Just looking at their schedule, the thing that sticks out for me, if you want to go look at the ACC and their ranked teams and their schedule and all that, their best team to start the year, I believe, was Florida State. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I think it was. They were, what, number 4 or 5?
They're a top 10 team.
Yeah, I know they're top 10.
They played in Ireland.
Yep, the Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets got them.
And they ended their conference play 1-7. So I don't know. Like, Syracuse was the 4th best team in the conference. Louisville.
Wait, hold on a minute. Georgia Tech. This can't.
What?
Okay. I was majorly threw me off. I went to ACC standings, and I'm looking at there, and I had Miami with the 1 loss, and I had Georgia Tech 8-0. It's women's basketball standings, so I was like, get my numbers mixed up there. I was like, what is going on here? That would make a lot more sense.
Are you distracted by the Twins over there?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, ACC this year has kind of just not been good for him. I mean, it's very tough to look through the ACC, and the fact that their top dog in Florida State went 1-7, and then the schools that you have kind of taken its spot are now schools that don't have very many possible good wins on the schedule, because one of the best possible ones they could have just had is now a 1-7 in conference play team. And Miami kind of just caught everybody by storm when they blew out Florida to start the beginning of the year. And then that steam kind of just slowly faded out. I could see the argument for Miami over SMU, but it's kind of the same argument. You know, I'm just comparing my crappy losses that might be slightly less crappy to yours. And to be honest, I think Miami does have slightly better wins. I probably would go Miami over SMU. Not by much, but enough. Because they actually have some blowout definitive wins. They've also squeaked out some against teams that aren't
the point
too
I'm
great.
trying to make.
But at least there's games where they blew teams out. And Georgia Tech has been really good all year. I know it's a loss, but at least it's a loss against a somewhat competent opponent. And then Syracuse, Syracuse is just fun this year. I don't know how else to put it up there. 5-3 conference play, but they were kind of on everybody's tail every game. It's just bad for the ACC.
So
I mean, that's just 2 years in a row. The ACC just like you're kind of pulling teeth to put one of them in there.
Thank you. So lawyering here. If it's hard to put one team in there, and you have to put one team in there, then why the heck are two team in there? There's no reason for two teams to be in there. Oh well, they were 8-0 in the regular season. All right, let's go pick other conferences which were just as bad.
Yep.
What's the sixth best conference? Go ahead and put their champion in. Whatever. If that's what we're doing, we don't care about strength of schedule.
The funniest part about all of this, though, is that everyone is like, "Oh man, Big 12, they're gonna forget about him." It's the ACC 2 years in a row, where, well, I guess not really. SMU squeaks in there, but really, I mean, you give credit to the Big 12 for squeaking in Arizona State at the end there.
Well, they have to.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you're right. Apology, I'm still getting used to this. They do have to.
So, so one other thing, real quick. So, respecting the Big 12. I'm sorry, Big 10. Respecting the Big 10. I know most listeners, and myself included, and Harrison and DP don't like Ohio State. But it wouldn't be a surprise if Ohio State makes it to the championship game.
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't think very many Nebraska fans have hardly any animosity at all towards Ohio State.
Oh, really?
Well, when you're kind of just like always getting your butt kicked by them, like it's hard to have animosity towards a team that politely kicks your butt and is.
I just don't like Ohio State fans. They're very annoying.
I don't like the fans, but it's just. I think Nebraska fans have had so many other teams to worry about that the team that kicks your butt is just not the team we've focused on, because it's like let's try to beat Minnesota consistently before we start worrying about Ohio State. I mean, the fan base is a little I mean, they did throw trash because the game was a little too close for them versus Nebraska. So like, I get that part of it. But as far as like Ohio State, there really isn't a whole lot of animosity towards them here in Nebraska. Like, if anything, it's the one Big Ten team. It's like, at least they represent the Big Ten more often than not.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is we talked about it a lot. Ohio State, Tennessee is the hardest game to pick. And then the winner of that over Oregon is the hardest game to pick.
Yep.
Just saying that right now. So the things that we were clear on, we have Texas going to the semifinals, right?
Yeah.
And we have Georgia going to the semifinals.
Yep.
But we did say Oregon, but I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing.
Yeah, you checked. The only way we're different is I picked Tennessee and you picked Oregon.
Okay. And I'm telling you, Ohio State, if you take away the Michigan loss, had a really good season.
Yeah, I mean, they did. They played good. It's just this year. Just again, it's like you haven't. When you get to the playoffs, it's like, okay, which teams like have just showed zero weaknesses all year? And this year there really isn't one of those teams. Like, it was always pretty consistently like Bama or Georgia. The only time those teams failed to dominate was when they were playing one of the playing each other. This is a year where it's like we've seen all of these good teams really just not look good at all and really play close to quote unquote less talent. So like on paper, Georgia, no way in doubt, should be able to pull out between Notre Dame and Indiana.
The quarterback's hurt.
That's a tough one. But again, Notre Dame and Indiana don't, as much as I like the Indiana story, even with the quarterback hurt, like I don't think Indiana's going to have enough. So like I'm still going Georgia.
Just give the ball to Etienne. I could be the quarterback and they'll be fine.
Now, when we talk Georgia, Penn State, I might still go Georgia, but then, Georgia.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold your horses.
Pun intended.
If you looked at, there are two there. Oregon, week 2, beat Boise State by it was less than 5. It was probably 3 or 1 point. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State arguably has the best running back in college football.
Yeah.
If you can run the ball, and you could beat Penn State in the Big Ten way, which Boise State can do, Boise State might surprise some people. And if we're gonna go off of history, which you guys would be like, well, then Clemson Clemson has more history than Texas. Boise State has some pretty good history in the playoffs. Or in the bowl games.
Okay, yeah.
In the bowl games. Boise State has done a pretty good job. Was it Oklahoma when they did their Statue of Liberty play or whatever it was?
Yeah, I was as you're talking about, I'm pulling up SMU's bowl wins. Because I think they got I think you're right in saying like their win percentage as of late has been pretty solid. Nope, never mind.
SMU?
Yeah, not even close.
No. SMU and Arizona State, like.
Okay, are you talking Boise State?
Yes, Boise State. Boise State barely lost to Oregon. Boise State has. I understand Arizona State might have the best running back in college football, but Boise State, in my opinion, has the best running back in college football.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that threw me off is when you said arguably. Is there an argument that he's not? You could say Caleb Johnson and guys like
Arizona State. The Arizona State running back has come out and said he's the best running back in college football.
Well, that's his entitled opinion.
Anyway, Boise State beating Penn State is not a surprise to me.
Yeah. Penn State's biggest problem this year is they kind of just play down or up to their opponent every single time. And that's not even this year. I mean, that's just kind of been the James Franklin problem for years. It's very Nebraska, Bo Pelini-esque.
Yeah.
Like kind of just stuck.
Yeah. Penn State to me is always a 10-win team. They'll beat all the average people, and then they will not beat anyone good. That was a very good statement. Yes.
It just kind of feels like I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State's the one team that gets upset. Because
by SMU?
No, I'm talking to Boise State. Like
it's not an upset. They're the 3 seed.
Yeah, okay, but hear me out. Like when I say upset, I'm talking about what are the Vegas odds going to be? I think might be
even.
Maybe, but I think it's probably going to favor Penn State by maybe a field goal, 2.5 points. Okay. It's going to be something like that. And then the Arizona State one in Texas, like, yeah, Arizona State's home. Texas is going to be the favorite if they win that one. I'm intrigued. I think Penn State's probably the best chance to get quote unquote upset. I get it the way it's set up. It's not technically an upset, but looking at Vegas, and you might be right. Boise State might be favored if Penn State ends up winning it, but I just kind of doubt it. As good as Genty is, Penn State just seems like that's a team that if James Franklin can't figure out a way to stop that, I mean, his whole bread and butter is playing teams like that and playing Big Ten ball. So there's a chance for Boise State the Big Ten Penn State. I just don't see it.
All right, so we have Georgia and 3 different teams that could win from Oregon, Ohio State, Tennessee. We have Texas. And then who do you have, Penn State or Boise State?
I'm still going Penn State.
All right, I'm going Boise State. So the one thing I want to bring up, we talked about it last week. I want to remind you that I asked when should Texas put Eli Manning, Arch Manning in at quarterback, because I don't think much of Ewers. And lo and behold, Ewers didn't do much.
The offense has been struggling. A little more than struggling. It's been suspect as of late. We can dive down that rabbit hole. Put it on the tee for me. I'll let you say. I'll even let you throw it to break.
Hey, Matthew McConaughey, who should be your quarterback against Clemson? Let me know on the breeze after the break.
Fantastic. All right.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. A final segment of The Breeze. Haas the Breezy streaming in. As always, you guys can join in. Final second comments. Feel free to use the Starter Heyman text line or the streams. We're going to talk about the Texas QB situation. Ewers did not have the best outing versus Georgia in the SEC Conference Championship game, which is a real bummer for Texas. I don't mind it at all. I never want to see Texas have too much success, but there was a real golden opportunity for Texas to walk into the SEC and just to say, we're here, year one, and win it. But they end up losing it behind a rough performance for Quinn Ewers. I'll quick give you his stats, Haas, and then I'll let you dive in on it. So for that Georgia game, he was 27 for 46, just under 60% completion rating, 358 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 picks, 50 long.
Minus 27 yards rushing.
Yeah, I didn't even, sorry, excuse me. 27 yards rushing. How many sacks?
Minus 27 yards rushing.
I think that's 27. How many sacks did he take in that game? He took 6. I found it. 6 sacks. That's how you get to negative 27. So there you go.
I don't know if that counts for the rushing yards.
It does. If you're, I think,
in college, not in the NFL.
Yeah, because I know that's how Dylan Raiola got his.
Okay, cool. My bad then. All right, well, it's pretty simple. You gotta put Manning in. Have the cojones. Put Manning in. Unless you intentionally lost the game, knowing that the 5 seed had an easier route in the first round. Because you're not dumb. You look at it, and you're like, well, the 4 and the 12 are going to be some pretty bad teams unless Alabama's going to be in. Just saying.
No, that's crazy. I think they just lost the game.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because that's why I would have put Manning in.
What makes sense for Texas to do is just to nut up and put him in there.
Yeah.
Have the cojones. Just for reference, Arch Manning, like, again, hasn't had a whole lot of time out there. His total career for 24, 61 completions or on 90 attempts. So he's, again, 67% completion rating. Not bad. Almost thrown for 1,000 yards. 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. With an average.
But he runs the ball really well.
Rating of 184. You can make whatever you will for ratings for ESPN. But
what is running stats?
Let me pull up. I'm on ESPN here. They always make it a little more pain. So rushing stats. He has, for this year, 21 carries for 100 yards. Almost averaging 5 yards to carry at 4.8, 4 touchdowns, and a 67-yard long.
And if that includes sacks, then that's a pretty good average.
Yeah, and sacks, I'm not sure how many sacks. He's taken 6 sacks on the entire year. And like I said, Ewers took 6 sacks in that game to Georgia alone. Which, all of that, you have to watch the tape to figure out whose fault is that. Did the QB just get blindsided? Was he holding on to the ball too long? I don't know about, the sacks. But from what I've seen of Arch, he can play. Like, you could probably... The problem is that you dragged your feet on it for so long. Haas, they should have plugged you in earlier because you wouldn't feel so nervous about it if you would have later in the season went ahead and did it.
Yeah, but Clemson and then Arizona State, that's like 2 JV football games. Just warm up with them.
I switch now. Yeah, you're just going to put them out there now versus in this game. It's like, all right, Tennessee, here you go.
Let's do it.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Rapid fire for the NFL. Kirk Cousins getting booed going back to Minnesota. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Minnesota fans, shut up. Just shut up. Like, are you kidding me?
What did you do wrong?
The fans that booed can shut up. Yeah, because you guys totally were all in on Sam Darnold, and none of you guys were talking crazy when your rookie QB got injured, and you guys were all ready to bail on the season. And now that you find a glimmer of real success and hope, you're just like, oh yeah, Kirk sucked. Boo. Outrageous. I can't believe that.
He didn't choose to leave.
No.
Whatever.
I thought that was a crazy move. I will say, though, I maybe a little too much booze in the stadium that day, because I have not heard that sentiment at all. Like all the Vikings fan I know still love Kirk Cousins. They got no animosity towards him. So I just couldn't tell you where that came from. If it
Well,
was
it's
just a
7-7
bad
right
deal.
now with 7-7 right now with Atlanta. Playing in Minnesota and Cousins throwing another INT. So maybe the Falcons fans are going to start booing and Penix will go in. George Kittle rocking a Don Staley Team USA basketball jersey. Pretty cool. Yeah, check that out. As the 49ers.
Kittle is one of my favorites, man.
He
And Don
has to be
Staley
everyone's
deserves
favorite.
the shout out.
That's really cool. To shout out a coach just like
What's
that.
his connection to the South Carolina head coach?
No clue. You just game likes game.
That's a good point. I can honestly respect that. Don Staley is probably one of my favorite coaches. Just across the board.
DP would be so proud right now if he was listening.
I think most people, if you just listen to Don Staley, would agree. Like, so she's a we don't have to spend all the time on that, but you agree. I know even if she's not one of the best, like you, great coach. Shout out.
So the 49ers with all their injuries, left side of the offensive line out. They have, I don't know, 10, 12 all-pro players out. Chicago still has a lot of talent.
Got to put it
Still
together.
has a lot of talent. And the one thing that the 49ers can't do right now is get to the quarterback. So this is not a good game for the 49ers. They can't generate any pressure on the quarterback. Bosa's out. Fred Warner's barely moving. It doesn't look good.
No, it does not look
Doesn't
good.
look good.
Man,
If
that's
Caleb
crazy.
Williams,
Sorry, excuse me. It's crazy. Just look at you guys, only one win ahead of us.
okay, so Hargrave is out, all pro defensive tackle. Bosa's out, top 2 defensive end. Mooney Ward hasn't really been himself since his daughter died. Hufanga might play, but he should have been out for the year. Greenlaw's out. Fred Warner's playing with a broken ankle. Offensively, Ayuk is out. McCaffrey's out. Mason's out. Trent Williams is out. And keep going. And Purdy's hurt. So
Yeah, you guys might be looking at loss number 4 in a row here. But we'll wrap things up here. I'll say, I hope so, because that'd be 7th loss straight for the Chicago Bears. I can't do 7 straight offs. That's unreal. But
with that said, for those of you that like to bet, that Don Staley jersey just switched the mojo of the game, and the 49ers will win.
All right, Haas. Appreciate it as always. We'll do it again next Sunday. This has been The Breeze. We'll have a replay set up for you next. Plenty more come here on Ticket Sundays. Appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, next week we'll do it all again.